Hello and welcome to Slapendipity, Hobos of Happy Slappy Town, episode 58. My name is Devon, but you can call me Gibby, and I am here with Eric, who you can call Eric.
Hi.
Eric, we learned about industry this week.
Okay.
We studied the form of which businesses take when they want to manufacture goods.
Okay.
We went to a factory.
Okay.
Do you want to tell them about the factory we went to?
Well, you see, it all starts when a mommy and a daddy and whoever else love each other very much, and they apply to the stork. And the stork says, well, okay, but you gotta come on down to the factory, and we took a tour of that factory. So you get to see kind of like the movie Robots when, like, they get their baby delivered and they have to assemble it themselves. Like, you can... that sounds a little eugenicsy. I'm gonna stop there.
When we were there were multiple kinds of goods that they manufactured. You had one, I had one, our two friends had two different ones. We all then judged them, which is kind of eugenicsy, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the experience?
So it was kind of cheesecake based.
They to the Cheesecake Factory.
They really fired home that, like, this is what you're here for. Except not. There was so much, like, Egyptian architecture type stuff, but also, like, weird non-Egyptian decoration. Crazy.
Yeah, I fully did not understand the decor of the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Very vagina-shaped, a lot of the lamps were. That was my conclusion.
Why aren't you using the word?
We were all at dinner, and I think it was you made a comment about like my thoughts on the decor, and I said it used very yonic imagery, and no one knew what that meant. And I go, okay, do you know what the word phallic means? And you all said yes. And I said, okay, yonic is the other one. Phallic means penis, yonic means vagina. And the lamps, they look like vaginas. That was my takeaway from the Cheesecake Factory. You had a very different takeaway. It's because you've never had cheesecake before. And so your visit to the Cheesecake Factory was very different than mine.
Yes.
Because you had it for the first time.
Yes.
Cheesecake.
At least that I can recall. No, yeah, I've seen vagina lamps before.
Of course.
As you do.
Tell everyone the tale of how we made you get it.
Well, we decided to go to the Cheesecake Factory, and we ate our food and whatever. I had the chicken parm sandwich. It was okay. Marinara was kind of off. The ciabatta bread was confusing to me, because it was really nice and fluffy and soft, and it got a little bit of crunch at the end, but then it was, like, so much bread compared to, like, the chicken, the meat, and the cheese that, like, you really only got the bread in some bites, and I was just like, what are we doing here? It feels like maybe they could have been, like, pressed or something, or, like, just used a different type of bread, but it was still, decent. And then, as we were deciding our foods and what we were eating and stuff, right, it was like, well, obviously we have to get dessert. Obviously we have to get cheesecake. And in my head, I'm like, do I, though? As you said, I've never had cheesecake. At least that I can recall. Because I'm pretty sure I had cheesecake at one point and was like, whatever about it. But I had no solid memory. That was just a feeling in my body. So I was content to not get cheesecake.
Well, that's too bad. I just have to say that, like, I think most people love cheesecake. Cheesecake's incredible. With that said, the point of the Cheesecake Factory is to offer a bunch of unique and fancy kinds of cheesecake. So like,
Oh,
if
sure.
someone's never had ice cream before, you would just kind of give them like, hey, here's some vanilla ice cream, and they go, oh my god, this is amazing. But if someone's never had ice cream before, and you give them mint chocolate chip, and they take a bite and they're like, I'm not like, this is a weird combination of flavors. I'm not sure if I like this. And you go, well, you're right. That was a kind of out there flavor. Let me give you something normal next. And they go, I don't know if I like ice cream at all because I didn't like mint chocolate chip. I think that person just had a bad first experience with mint chocolate chip. And so now looking back at the situation, I think that since you said you'd never had cheesecake before, we should have just given you plain cheesecake instead of having you get a crazy flavor.
Well, and so here's the thing, right? The crazy flavor that you're talking about is chocolate, which that's just a you issue. Chocolate is a
Yeah,
perfectly normal flavor.
chocolate cake is disgusting. They had red velvet, which I was mad about because I hate red velvet. We've discussed this before.
Yes. Now, if someone never had ice cream, I would offer them vanilla or chocolate. Those are both equally viable
Fair.
first-time flavors.
I just think that the chocolate cheesecake you had is basically just like chocolate cake, but I guess like with tinges of cheesecake-ness in it, which I just think was not a great introduction to cheesecake.
Well, so, spoiling a little bit, some people might be able to guess, and you may have guessed right. If you did, you get a silver star. I didn't care for it. I didn't like it. Which is mostly down to like the texture and stuff, which is why
Wrong.
I don't feel the need to eat any cheesecake ever again, because if you just can't, to eat cheesecake is to eat that texture, and I don't like that texture, so
I have never once understood what people mean when they say they don't like something's texture food-wise. There's many different kinds of texture.
Yes.
Are you saying that you just wouldn't eat, like, but, like, do you also not like, I don't know, like pound cake or something?
Oh,
like, you don't
pound
like
cake's
fluffy,
delicious.
You don't like fluffy
No.
cake? Like, what are you talking about?
No. Do not confuse the people at home. Okay. First of all, cheesecake.
Confused.
Let us describe cheesecake. So that,
Delicious.
for anyone that doesn't know, has a baseline. It comes in many different flavors, as much as ice cream, right? You have your vanilla, your chocolate, your Snickers, your Reese's, your cookie dough, whatever. But it is cake shaped, right? And then it is, maybe it's got like a crust from the bottom of it to the top, and maybe some crumblies or whatever. I believe the default is like graham cracker.
Yeah, the best part.
And then the like cake part of the cheesecake is like made up of like cheesy milk combination thing. Yeah, it's not like a actual cake. It's like, dairy.
Yes, it is. It's like cream cheese. So it's cream, but there's a bitterness to it. And so a big fork of the cake substance, and then the extremely sweet graham cracker base. Those are the two flavor combinations you're supposed to get. And so when you get the Cheesecake Factory specialty flavors, you're getting that, but then on top of that, you're getting other like things, which is why I think it's a complex palate. I just don't know what you mean by texture. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I just wanted to give that as the bar, right? So here's why I would eat pound cake or any other cake, and because it's all light and fluffy and whatever, because that has substance to it. Cheesecake doesn't. I mean, it does, but like
it's like thick whipped cream.
And I don't like whipped cream.
Well, you're wrong.
And I don't like banana because it's all soft and mushy and bleh.
The best.
Like I don't. No, the worst texture.
Do you like mac
also,
and cheese?
How can you say the best texture? You were just like, I don't know what people mean when they say texture. You can't say the best texture.
I don't know what people mean when they say that they. I don't know what people say. I don't know what people mean when they say that they can't eat something because of the texture. Because like, there's lots of things that have a slimy texture, like mac and cheese. And to say that, like, oh, I wouldn't eat, I don't know.
What kind of mac and cheese are you eating that it's
good kind.
slimy?
All mac and cheese is slimy.
No.
like all textures have good food associated with them and likely bad food. I would never eat a bad food and be like, I don't like the texture, because there's probably a good food I do like that has the same texture. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, probably, but also if it's bad enough, you just don't do it. I mean, it is also a little bit of like a, you can just outgrow it, I guess. You can just force yourself to eat the texture you don't like, and one day you'll be fine with it.
I've just never comprehended what people mean when they say that. Like, are you saying that any good thing of that texture you would never eat? So there's one girl that we used to work with who said that she doesn't like the texture of like noodles or whatever, and so she's never had mac and cheese in her entire life because she doesn't like the texture. And I'm just like, well, but like you would probably like it if you did try it. And so like I've never understood why people are like that. Like, I don't comprehend the concept.
For me, at least, like, I will still try a new food. I tried the cheesecake. Like, I'm not gonna be like, bleh about it. I will be like, oh, it's got this texture. I don't typically like this texture, so, like, I am mentally putting myself in, like, okay, we're gonna, be adventurous today. We're gonna have a glass of water on standby. But, like, you don't like sour, you don't eat sour. Same thing.
I'll eat warheads, but I don't like green apples. But, I don't like green apple texture. I love red apples. Imagine if I said I'm not going to eat red apples because I don't like the texture of green apples. Make no sense.
Well, the texture is so different.
Yeah, but I don't understand. And I'm
Bernie
the one
Smith
here.
Has such a crunch and crisp.
I'm the one here with minor synesthesia, and I don't even comprehend what you're saying. There's red apples with crunchy crisp too.
Yeah, but that's not red delicious. It's just a preference thing. It's just or like, if you're an adult, right? I would imagine I haven't had this experience. I imagine it's similar to, like, you turn 21 or whatever, you drink a lot, and you drink that one type of alcohol that, like, you have a bad time with because you drank too much of it. You like, drink a ton of tequila, and then you, like, throw up, you spend your night in the bathroom, and then the next morning you're like, I'm never drinking tequila again because your time with it was so horrible.
Yeah. I've heard people say, like, 10 years ago I had a bad experience with that kind of alcohol, and no, I can't drink it. Like, it makes, like, them nauseous just to, like, think about drinking it. Right. Which, having never been drunk, I don't comprehend, but, like, enough people have said that I guess it's a real thing.
Yes, and I have never done that because I heard stories about that and was like, I just won't do that to myself. So I imagine that it's kind of similar. Also, what do you like? But have you never had, like, one of the things with me is, like, I got consistent food poisoning from Burger King to the point where I was like, I will never eat at Burger King again because every time I do, or just about, I get food poisoning and throw up violently. So I'm just not eating there. You've never had that?
I've never had food poisoning, no. I also don't eat fast food.
No!
I cook for myself. I don't eat fast food. Like, I only ever eat out when I'm, like, with you guys. No! I've never had food poisoning before.
You've never had food poisoning. No. This is outrageous, outlandish,
I don't eat weird things. What's food poisoning? Food poisoning is in, like, eggs and meat and, like, sometimes lettuce or whatever. It's just like, yeah, okay, I don't eat those things.
I've not heard of people getting food poisoning from lettuce.
It's like E. coli can, like, be in lettuce or whatever. I do eat eggs, but, like, I make my own. I get eggs from the store and then, like, make them.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
No, I've never had food poisoning.
That sounds fake, but I believe it.
Okay.
Because you guys. Anyway, fine.
Anyway, the point is that we all tried each other's cheesecakes. I didn't like yours either, so I think it's kind of like
because it was
lame.
Chocolate.
Well, yeah, it was also just gross. So I think it would be kind of lame. Because it was
chocolate.
No, I think it would be kind of lame to say, like, oh, you don't like cheesecake because you didn't like that cheesecake. And so I told you that if we are ever in a situation when there's just normal cheesecake around, I will make you eat it, and then you can judge it from that.
Nay.
Yes.
Nay.
Anyway.
No. Because imagine if I was like, oh, Devon, you have to eat nado. Nado? Nado.
I don't know what that is.
It's fermented beans, and it's a very hit or miss Japanese dish. Like, people either love it or despise it. There is no middle ground. And I go, okay, try this. And you go, I didn't like that. And I go, oh, that was the spicy version, actually. Now you have to try the normal version. And you go, oh, but it's still going to be the same thing.
But spice isn't flavor.
What? Hello?
Spice isn't a flavor. Spice is a spice. Like hotness?
Yes.
I don't understand.
But you're not, but you're still gonna...
I just think that was a bad example. I think that was a bad example.
But it's pineapple flavored.
If you'd ever had a bagel before, and I gave you, like, an egg bagel with garlic on it, and you didn't like it, I'd be like, well, hold on. Like, you got to at least try a sesame seed. Because, like, they're just so different things. Just because you didn't like that doesn't mean you're not going to like the concept of boiled bread with flavorful seeds on it and cream cheese.
I don't know. I think you can just assess your own.
I disagree.
Think a person can take whatever flavors and textures and whatever else about the food and compartmentalize them, you know? If I eat an egg, whatever, bagel, I can be like, okay, the egg flavor is whatever, and the seeds I kind of don't like, but the bread is fine. I think that's a perfectly normal food breakdown for someone to have.
And I don't think you were able to experience that with the cheesecake.
You totally can, because it's just...
Disagree.
Cheese and cracker.
Well, first of all, the best kind of food. Second of all, I disagree because of the way that they taste in this context. It's more cream than it is cheese. And it's more graham than it is cracker, if you catch my drift. I don't even know what that means.
But also, we, as you said, we tried everyone's... You know, there were 4 of us, we each got a cheesecake. We tried a little bit of everyone's. I didn't like mine, which was chocolate. I tried our friend's, she got tiramisu. I didn't like, I mean, the flavor was whatever. The coffee tiramisu stuff was fine, I guess. But I didn't like it for the same reason. I tried yours, which was like cherry chocolate.
Yeah, cherry. Oh, not.
Cherry.
I didn't like any of ours either. Cherry.
Didn't like it. I tried our friend's, who he got like the default cheesecake, but it was just like a low calorie, no sugar type version. And I didn't like it. Like, it's not, you tried one chocolate weird cheesecake and you don't like it, so we must get you to try another. I tried 4 different cheesecakes and didn't like any of them.
So if we had cheesecake, and I said, Eric, you need to take a bite of regular cheesecake, you would say no.
I mean, to get you off my back, I would say yes.
Okay.
And then I'd go, I don't like it. And you'd go, well, that's silly. And I'd go, I didn't like 4 other cheesecakes. What do you expect?
So I've been thinking about textures while we're having this conversation. And I would say that I don't know. So, like, I don't like olives. I kind of despise olives. I like olive oil, though. And I don't like cherry tomatoes, or tomatoes in general, actually. But, like, obviously I eat tomato sauce and other things, just because I think that those are very different flavors. Anyway, I don't like those things. And I guess I could say that, like, one of the things I don't like about them is the sliminess. But at the same time, I eat plenty of other things that are the same. Blueberries, grapes. You know, I'll eat plenty of slimy fruits and vegetables. I just don't like tomatoes and olives. And to say, oh, it's a texture. It's like, yeah, I don't like how it pops in my mouth because the flavor that's unleashed when it pops in my mouth is gross. Whereas when a grape or a blueberry pops in my mouth, it's delicious. So yeah, I still understand the texture thing. Anyway, when I asked you to tell the story, I was expecting you to tell, like, the story. So I will tell the story. You
were like, we went to a factory, and I was like, we did.
She started talking about eugenics, and I'm like, Eric, I set you up for the Cheesecake Factory story.
Anyway, and tell your version of the story then.
The story is, we were out with two of our friends. These are people that we used to work with at the movie theater. Haven't seen them as much since we all left the theater. None of the four of us work there anymore, so we're not, like, we have to basically, like, set special dates to, like, go out and do stuff. All of us have very different jobs, etc. So one of the guys, I have a very good relationship with his parents. Just like whenever they came into the theater, it'd be like, "Oh my God, Devon's here!" Like, yay! Or like, we when we'd hang out, there'd be times when they had to drive him, either because of. No, I was gonna say like, oh, because they're expecting him to be drunk, but like that's not even it. I don't know why sometimes they have to drive him. Oh, that was it. He hit a deer. He didn't have a car, so his parents had to drop him off sometimes. That was it. So like I just met his parents on many occasions, and ever since we stopped working at the same place, apparently they'd ask him, they'd be like, "So how is Devon doing?" So his parents love me, love his parents. They're incredible. So we're hanging out, and he's Snapchatting his mom, and I'm like, "Oh, let me say hi to your mom." So I say hi to his mom, and then we take two different cars to go from the place we're hanging out, which is an arcade, to go to the Cheesecake Factory. So me and Eric drive to the Cheesecake Factory, and we get out of the car, and we're walking to the Cheesecake Factory, and we have to cross the parking lot, like the street parking lot, and a car pulls in front of us, and they roll down their window. And this lady in the passenger seat yells, "Devon!" And I walk over and I'm like, "Oh my God, you guys." And we start talking to him. Now, Eric, you explain your perspective of this incident.
I did not know these people. I do not have the same relationship with this person. So I assumed this was like a professor that you knew or a teacher or something.
Yeah, so he just sees a middle-aged lady.
Some former mentor type.
Yeah.
Excitedly screaming your name, holding up traffic. There was no traffic. Except for one car.
So the twist is that this was our friend's mother, or his parents, who we had just been talking to on the phone. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what are you guys doing here?" And they're like, "We're at Cheesecake Factory for dinner. We're leaving." And I'm like, "Oh my God, like we're coming here to have dinner and your son didn't tell us that you were here?" And they're like, "Yeah, because like, I guess that like we didn't communicate with him properly, so he didn't know that we were leaving here and we didn't know that you guys were coming here." I'm like, "Oh my God." And so I had a nice conversation with them, and then there was traffic, like Eric said, so they left. So it was very cool. So then we all go inside, and then I talked to our friend, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, like, why didn't you tell us that your parents were also here right before us?" He's like, "I don't know. My parents come here every week. This is like their thing. They come to the Cheesecake Factory." And I'm like, "Wow." So we order our food, and then we're looking over the cheesecake menu, and I'm torn between the cherry chocolate and cookie dough. And I don't know which one to get. And basically, I'm like, you can't mess up cookie dough. I think that cherry chocolate's probably one of my favorite flavors, but you can easily mess it up. If it's just the wrong flavor of artificial cherry or the wrong kind of chocolate, it can be messed up easy. So I'm debating between them. So I look at our friend and I'm like, "You say that your mother loves all the different kind of cheesecakes here. Ask her if she prefers cookie dough or cherry." And he says, "Okay." So he calls his mother. And this is in the middle of us all convincing Eric to try the cheesecake because he's never had cheesecake before. And so a friend gives me the phone and I'm like, "Hey, Mrs. So-and-so, we're at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm trying to decide what I should get. Would you recommend cookie dough or cherry?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I've never actually had either of those," and starts talking about her favorite flavors. And so we're kind of like nodding along, like, "Yeah, that flavor, this flavor, that flavor." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to put you on the phone with Eric, and you have to tell him that it's his responsibility to try new things and to try cheesecake." So I take the phone with our friend, basically Eric's coworker. He's not like super close to this person. So his ex-coworker's mother, who he has now met for half a second outside in the parking lot, I hand him the phone so that this middle-aged mother can nag him about trying new food. So I'd like you to explain your
I get the phone
feelings about this.
I get the phone. She starts talking and says, "You gotta try cheesecake. It's so good." And I'm like, yeah, okay. There were so, like, I forget what she said exactly. But like, "Oh, it's like really, they're always really good. Trust me. Like, just get like a chocolate one to start with or something." And as I'm on the phone with her, our waiter is there, and you guys all placed your cheesecake orders, and I'm just on the phone with her as she's trying to be like, oh, this isn't this and that. And I'm just like, and he's just staring at me because, like, he doesn't know what's going on. I barely know what's going on. And I'm like, and he was like, you want a cheesecake? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what kind? And I was like, chocolate. And he was like, don't worry, I got you. He understood the assignment, and he brought back chocolate. I forget the sub thing it had. I think chocolate ganache. I don't remember. Yeah, and I handed back the phone. No,
do you resent me for putting you in this situation?
No, resent is too strong a feeling.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't mind trying different foods. I was just like, yeah, I know I'm not gonna care for it, at best.
And you didn't.
And I didn't. I was right.
You were right.
Yeah.
Speaking of trying new things, you tried something else for the first time that day. Do you not remember?
Of course not, Devon. Of course I don't remember.
So we went to an arcade.
Oh, yeah, I've been to that arcade before.
And at the arcade, they had Guitar Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Which Eric didn't play. Now, Eric, me and you are the same age, so Guitar Hero was big when we were in, like, middle school. Yeah. And I had Guitar Hero 2 on the PS2. And I loved it, and I played it. And then our friend who we were there with, whose mother we called, also had Guitar Hero, and he loved it and he played it. And then our other friend, the only girl in the group who was there, said that she, like, really liked Guitar Hero and was good at it. And so then we all start playing. It's a two-person, like, competitive mode, two people playing Guitar Hero at the same time. And she destroyed us.
Yes.
She was, like, incredible. I don't know, like, I can barely play it with all five colors, all five fingers, like, on hard mode. So I was doing that, and I was like, I suck. And I went back to medium, and I was doing pretty good. So apparently Guitar Hero skills are like a bicycle you never forget. I was just that I was never good to begin with. And she just destroyed us. But it was your first time ever playing. So I want you to describe your first time ever playing Guitar Hero in this circumstance.
Well, so similar to the cheesecake thing, I might have played it like once long ago, and I have forgotten, but the body hasn't. Because I think maybe one time at a sleepover in around middle school, we played Guitar Hero at a friend's, and I played the drums maybe, or I was just playing the drums when the game wasn't on, just like hitting it. So it's a rhythm game, and I suck at rhythm games. I know this about myself. It's the one type of games that I will almost automatically turn down because I'm that bad. And yeah, it was fine. You gotta hit the buttons on the upper part of the guitar to the timing it of the beat of when the colored button is coming from the screen down to you in the little circle, match up the color circles so a green note is coming at you and you press the green note on the guitar in your hand, and then there's also a strummy bit on the bottom of the guitar and you gotta strum it as the same time that you hit the button. And sometimes the notes have a long line out of them, which means you have to strum the guitar and hold it, and you're like doing that on a guitar, whatever that word is. And then and that's how you play the game. And then, yeah, I mean, I did okay. I mean, I was obviously the worst. But yeah, I mean, you know.
Have you ever played other rhythm games?
I mean, I played Hi-Fi Rush, which is like part rhythm game, part like character action game.
What about like I don't know, I'm trying to think of like other examples. Like
Patapon? No.
Yeah, Patapon. They just announced a remake for the Switch. What about like Rhythm Heaven or I don't know, there's like a Final Fantasy rhythm game, I think. Or
If
DVR.
this no, well, I mean, we played at the arcade, and then yes, and they sometimes had us play DDR in gym, so shrug.
What about Beat Saber?
No. Devin, let me see if this will help you. There is a Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. I did not play it. Yes, there is.
Okay, you should have. I didn't play it, but yeah. What about the My Little Mermaid level in Kingdom Hearts, which is just a rhythm game?
Well, yeah, I had to play that to continue the game.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like those. I think I like Guitar Hero because it's like you're pressing the buttons and whatever. Whenever I played like a console rhythm game where you're just pressing the face buttons, even like Parappa the Rapper, right? Like that's a rhythm game. I don't know, I just don't get it. But I do like Guitar Hero, and I think I would love Beat Saber. It's just I've never really played a VR game.
I don't have VR. Why would you think I would play Beat Saber?
Like at a sleepover in middle school or something.
Yes, famously when VR came out in middle school for us.
Well, I think that this was a great discussion of Guitar Hero and cheesecake. A great summary of our adventure, the highs and the lows.
No, there was another low.
There was another... What was the other low?
Well, for me, at least. We went to, like, some fancy place for brunch, which I think myself and our friend girl.
Companion.
I didn't like the place. I don't think I don't think she liked what she ate. And I don't like what I ate. And I got pancakes. Just normal pancakes. And they messed it up.
You asked for no butter. You messed it up.
No. First of all, you don't need butter on your pancakes. That's what the syrup is for.
Yes, you do.
Second of all, need both. No. Second of all, they were like small, thick, fluffy pancakes. So, there's that. And then they had the powdered sugar on them, which I prefer that, but whatever. But they felt so uncooked, and I looked at them, and I was like, they were cooked, and they were just so like thick, I guess, that it was bad. It was not great.
I actually like uncooked pancakes.
That's disgusting.
Uncooked butter, and you have to put syrup on them so the syrup soaks in and makes it all mushy. That's the ideal pancake.
No.
I like kind of burnt on the outside and mushy on the inside.
Burnt?
Not burnt, but like crispy. What? Like dark brown on the outside, uncooked on the inside.
I have made those types of pancakes when I was learning how to make pancakes as a baby child. Yes. Of like, oh no, I burnt the outside because I had the heat too high, but it's not cooked in the middle. And the fact that you're like, yeah, that's what I want is insane.
Because, like, when you're a Boy Scouts and you're cooking on, like, a griddle outdoors, they're all going to be burnt, crispy on the outside, gooey on the inside, and that's the best kind of pancake, so...
This is why I don't feel the need to try a normal cheesecake from you, because you don't even like good pancakes. You like the worst kind of pancakes.
I mean, all pancakes are good pancakes, but that's my preferred type of pancake.
It's not even cooked.
I will also say that this was, like, mine. I also got pancakes. Mine were not like that. Mine were just a little thick. They're just, like, kind of more bready than pancakey. So, like, it was basically just, like, it was just like eating cake. It's just like, here's some sweet, thick bread with butter. I said, okay. Because you put butter on pancakes.
You don't.
Objectively, you do. Everyone does. It's part of the food. Oh, you don't put ketchup on a hot dog. Like, yes, you do, actually.
No, you don't. Also, you don't eat meat. You don't get a say in that.
I know. Like, I don't like ketchup or hot dogs. I'm just saying that you put ketchup on hot dogs.
Nah. Okay. Well, first of all, to explain myself to the angry people listening, the way I grew up, we just didn't put butter on pancakes and whatever. Like, we would have, like, oh, it's breakfast for dinner or whatever. We'd never put pancakes or butter on our pancakes.
Do you put butter on waffles?
No. You don't put butter on any of those breakfast types.
Do you put butter on biscuits?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people will. I won't.
When I
Depends.
What? When your family did your family just like not have biscuits? I don't know. When my family had biscuits, it was always like we had a little tray of butter and we had honey straight out of the bear. And so it'd be like, oh, I'll have a biscuit with butter and I'll have a biscuit with honey. And then you're like, what if both? And then it just like didn't really turn out that well. But yeah, both are good. That's like basically the only context I ever had honey as a kid is on biscuits. What's your biscuit experience?
Yeah, biscuit is, fine.
What did you put
butter on? I ate it for
on?
a long time. Toast.
I don't even like toast. Toast is like...
What?
I can't think of a context in which I would be like, you know what I want right now? Toast. But I could
toast
have
is
literally
delicious.
anything else. No.
What do you mean? I mean, it's super dry without the butter. That's why you put it on. But like...
Did you put the butter on before
slice
you
of buttered toast? No. Why? What? How, that wouldn't even work. What would you do?
So, like, I would make toast in a oven. Not... what are they called? Toaster oven. So you take a piece of bread and you put a thin amount of butter or olive oil on it, and then you put it in there. But like if I could do that, I could also just make homemade garlic bread, and so I'd rather just do that.
But okay, so first of all, we for quite a while had like the traditional toaster, so like
pop-up toaster.
Yeah, you just couldn't put the butter on it beforehand. Second of all, toast is good for when you got, like, an upset stomach or whatever. Like, you can't eat much, so you, like, eat some toast. You can't eat garlic bread when you got an upset stomach.
I think I'd probably rather just have, like, Wonder Bread with butter than toast it. If you're going to toast something, why don't you have a bagel? Toasted bagels are good.
I mean, yeah, but you don't have access to a bagel. You got bread in your house.
Buy bagels and not bread.
Buy bagels and not bread? Because store-bought, like, grocery store bagels suck.
What? Grocery store bagels are incredible. Fresh from the bakery?
Yeah, okay. Because you can get fresh from the bakery, or you can get, like, the Thomas bagels.
Oh. Yeah, no, those
Thomas bagels suck. Now they do. When I was a kid, I was about them, but then I became enlightened. Fresh from the bakery, we don't buy them from that, because we just don't.
Not a bagel
family. I mean, how many do you just constantly have bagels in your household?
Yes, when my mother went to the store, she would buy 22 bagels so that me and my two brothers could each have a bagel every day of the week. I had a bagel every day for breakfast for the first 20 years of my life.
That's insane.
Bagels are the best, like top tier food. Like one of the best food.
I don't disagree, they're really good, but that's just so much. That's so much. That's just wild to me. See, my parents would just be like, Sure. My parents would just be like, just have toast.
No, gross.
No, toast is good.
Toast? Why would you have toast when you could have bagel? And why would you have toast when you could have grilled cheese?
Okay, first of all, 22 bagels, I imagine, is expensive compared to a slice of toast. Second of all, if it's for breakfast or an upset stomach, you either don't have the time or the capabilities to eat/digest grilled cheese.
Maybe your stomach wouldn't have been upset that much if you were eating non-toast foods.
I did eat non-toast foods. Right?
I don't know. I never really had problems with upset stomach so much as a kid that my parents would be
like, yeah, because you've never had food poisoning.
That is also correct.
Insane.
Maybe I'll get it in Japan.
I don't think you've lived life.
Okay, because I've never gotten Burger King.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. Like, how do you not have this universal experience of eating food?
Because we live in the 21st century, so you're not going to get food poisoning from, like, unwashed food, but also I just don't eat like gross restaurants or whatever.
I know. But you go to Applebee's. You could get food poisoning from Applebee's.
From the pretzels? The only thing I get there are pretzels. What kind of food poisoning is going to be on their baked pretzels?
I don't know. Maybe they don't bake them. Maybe they give you cold pretzels and you eat it anyway.
Well,
I don't know.
Frozen. I think freezing might hurt the bacteria. I don't know. Never had food poisoning.
I kind of want you to have food poisoning.
Okay, I'll just have it in Japan when it's just the two of us in a foreign continent.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't get food. I don't want to wish ill will on you.
Yeah, especially you're going to be the one taking care of me. So
you're gonna sleep in the bed, and you're gonna throw up once. I'm gonna pat you on the back. I'm gonna clean up your mouth. You're gonna bring me some toast. I'll bring you toast and a glass of water, maybe ginger ale, and then I'm gonna.
Ginger ale does not help an upset stomach.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Ginger does though. Ginger ale will not, but ginger root will.
It's about the
placebo. Is that where you're going here?
Yeah. Yes. It's about the placebo. It's about the feeling it gives you of when you're like, little bubblies and a good ginger taste.
Just have some Tums or Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, you take that in addition. Yeah, you take Tums, you get toast and ginger ale, and you sweat it out.
Okay. Because you had bad Burger King. I don't know if this is a universal experience, but I've never experienced it.
You know what's the worst type of Burger King food poisoning?
What? Burger King foot lettuce?
What? No. Oh. I mean, maybe. For me, it was you eat your meal, and then you get a Slurpee. So you drink a red Slurpee.
I don't know what a Slurpee is.
An icy.
An icy, okay.
So you drink your red Slurpee, and then you finish your meal, and you're like, wow. And then an hour later, you throw up, and then your vomit is red Slurpee. Texture, color, and consistency. And it's not great.
Okay. I don't like red ices. I like the blue icy.
I mean, blue icy is better, but you gotta have the red one every once in a while.
I think its own way. A little drop of the red in blue, I think is good, but overall I don't like the red, which is weird because I like cherry flavored. There's just some cherry flavored I can't stand, and like red icy is one of them. And this cherry cheesecake I ended up having is also bad.
Sounds like a skill issue. Also, I just want to point out, right? Remember like a million episodes ago when I was like, there's a correct ratio of icing to cake for cupcakes?
Yes.
And cheesecake is literally the thing that I don't like about those. Like, I don't like cupcakes when the icing ratio is like 2/3 of the cupcake. And then cheesecake is literally all just icing. And cheese. You didn't like put the dots together.
I mean, I would not say that cheesecake is all icing because it's
icing and cheese.
Bitter-ish. It's just the creamy part. I can see someone saying they don't like icing because it's too sweet and doesn't really have a flavor, and so it detracts from the nice, rich flavor of cake. Cheesecake is more just like creamy, like a cream cake. You don't like banana. Frick, what? You just have bad opinions. You don't like banana cream, do you?
Probably not. I don't think I've actually had banana cream. I've never heard of that before, really, so.
Okay, well,
but yeah, I don't like banana, so. Yeah. Yeah, I have bad opinions. I know this about myself.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a while since we had an episode that was just talking about food. It used to be that every single episode was like that, and we'd have to give warnings and be like, hey guys, don't watch this episode when you're hungry. But this whole episode's just been food. Lots of food.
Yeah, big food.
Yeah, so it's currently around, I guess, Passover time, and so all the grocery stores have lots of matzah, and I love that stuff. They always, it's like, oh, it's Passover, so everyone gets a free matzah box, and then I love it so much that I end up going back and buying more. I love matzah.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, no, and I love like sourdough bread. It's just like, disgusting. It's delicious.
Except
Yeah.
that one time. No, wait. Never mind. Continue.
I don't know what you're gonna say. Have you had like just actual like matzo bread or
Well,
matzo
no, I was
crackers or
gonna.
whatever?
A side story from the Cheesecake Factory is they gave us bread, and they gave us two different types of bread. And it was sourdough and I get what, rye?
Yes.
And you were like, ew, rye's disgusting.
I didn't say
I'd
that.
much rather have sourdough because it's great. And our friend was like, Devon, that's silly. Try the rye. And you were like, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, the rye was good. It's just I generally prefer sourdough. Like, there's no such thing as bad sourdough, but there is such thing as bad rye. But this was different.
I think you're kind of a liar. There has to be a bad sourdough. There's no way all sourdough is good dough. And you've said this with other foods this episode of, oh, there's no bad sourdough. There's no bad cherry. Well, actually, you did
there's very bad cherry. There's
well,
no
whatever.
bad vanilla ice cream.
Right, and I think this is false. You just haven't found them.
Okay, so I'll just keep eating vanilla ice cream and sourdough bread until I get a tummy ache, and then you can give me some toast.
You might not want to eat it because you just ate so much sourdough.
True, true, true.
Can I do a complete 180 on this?
Sure.
Okay. Sometimes you get someone a gift, right? And sometimes it goes well. You don't have to do anything. The gift is given and it's off your chest. Sometimes you give someone a gift and then something happens and you're like, well, I must handle this now as the gift giver. I gave a gift of AirPods to someone. And, it was like, oh, well, I've had them for a little bit, and now they're broken, and I don't know what happened. So I tried troubleshooting with them, tried pairing it to their phone. Nothing. Dead. Completely kaput. Not actually. There was a battery charge, the light was working, they were using it before, but now it wouldn't, pair to their phone, or just work in any reasonable capacity. So I went to the Apple store, where I bought it, because I was in the mall. And I had a gift receipt, and the normal receipt. And I was like, help me and fix this, please. And they went, okay, let me look at it. They looked at it. They stumbled around. And they went, okay, basically, there is liquid damage in here. And that caused a nickel issue. In the bottom of an AirPod case, they have exposed wiring and whatever so that it can charge the individual bud, right?
Okay.
So somehow liquid got in, went into that, and now there's nickel damage, and that's why they don't work. And the warranty that you bought with the gift only covers manufacturer issues. If you got it out of the box and it just didn't work, or some issue from not user damage, right? If you dropped them and they broke, if you got liquid damage and they broke, if it was the user's fault, they don't cover it. They only cover Apple side and manufacturing side. And I'm like, well, that's bogus. And they were like, yeah, so it's $200 to fix it, but you can just buy a new pair for cheaper. And I went, that's silly. That's dumb. So I called the person, and I was like, here's the sitch. What do you want to do? And they were like, I will just give you money. Please buy me a new pair. And I said, okay. So I bought a new pair, which, annoyingly, I had to see a different guy. And this new guy, I was like, hey, I want to buy these things. And he was like, oh, did you see the Pedro Pascal ad? And I went, what? No. And he was like, well, you gotta watch it. If you watch this ad, it's gonna make you want to buy two. And I went, what? And so he pulled out his phone, put on the Pedro Pascal a YouTube ad for AirPods, and it was 5 minutes long. And I just stood there. And the guy just stood there. and I was watching the ad, and he would look at me to see my reaction, and like, essentially like, oh, the best part's coming up. Oh, you're gonna, and then the thing happens, and he's like, and he just looks at me, and I'm just trying to buy some AirPods. So then 5 minutes later, and he goes, yeah, wasn't that incredible? And I was like, yeah, I guess it was a good ad. And he was like, don't you want to buy more? And like, isn't it so good? And he was so good, and blah, blah. And I was like, I'm buying these as a gift. And he went, oh, so you already have some or something? And then I was like, yeah, basically. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he quickly scans everything and is like, okay, bye. And I'm like, yeah, be embarrassed. Go home. Mission complete. Deliver the new AirPods to the person. Tell them about the old ones. Hold on to the old ones, because why not? Maybe I can find a third-party person to fix them for much cheaper, you know? A few days pass, watch YouTube videos, fiddle with things on desk. AirPods are on desk. They make fun clicky noises. Do that for a few minutes. What if I blow into them? Like they're an old video game cartridge or something. Take out the buds. Blow into the inside of the case a few times with deep, long breaths. Blow on the bottom part of the buds where they would connect. Put them inside. Use my own phone. Boop. AirPods noticed. Would you like to connect?
Wait, what?
And I fixed it.
No way. What? That's not how it works.
I solved it. I cured nickel damage.
What?
Not actually. I don't know if it's a temporary fix. Maybe I just pushed some of the stuff in a way with my breath, and that's enough. And then maybe something will happen and it'll get messed up. Maybe I permanently fixed it. I don't know, but they're working now. And so I told the person, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, do you want to return your new ones? And then you can like save money, and like, I'll give you back the money because I haven't spent it yet. And then like, it's a win-win all around. And they were like, no, those might re-break again because we don't know if that was a permanent fix or not. So like, I'm good with what I got. I guess you can just keep them. I went, okay. So I saved myself $200 of not buying AirPods and getting them anyways. Now I am Pedro Pascal.
I remember back in the day, it was a very common problem that people's like DSs or whatever would break, and the buttons would just stop working. And the solution is you just blow into them. You press your lips around the 4 face buttons, and you blow, and it just kind of pops them back into place. And I remember I borrowed your PSP to play Kingdom Hearts. Mm-hmm. And one of the left shoulder button didn't work or something?
The outside button was gone, but the internal mechanic of the button was there. So, like, you could still press a button, it just wasn't the designed button. It was the mechanic of a button.
I'm just saying, I remember blowing your PSP. That's my memory of this event.
And did it solve the problem?
Yeah, I didn't know how to block until I got halfway through the game, and I was like, Eric, this game's impossible. And you're like, well, are you blocking? So like that was a thing. But no, I liked it. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, best Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But so yeah, that's moral of the story. If you have a piece of technology, before spending $200 to fix it, try blowing it. And it just might work.
And if you don't like cheesecake, try again.
At what point do you stop trying?
Well, you said that if you like all sourdough, you have to keep trying to see if there's any you dislike. So by that logic, if you don't like cheesecake, you have to keep trying until there's some that you do like.
I'm not saying you have to eat it until you don't like it. I'm just saying it's got to exist. there is a bad one. Statistically. Out of everyone that makes sourdough, someone has to make it poorly.
And that's the end of that. What a great episode. Cheesecake, Sickness, and Guitar Hero.
And AirPods.
Guitar,
blowing technology.
Air, blowing. I don't know. We'll figure out a title later. Bye, everyone.
Blow your cheese. Not actually. Bye.